This is the Diablo podcast. I am the host, Flux, and on this show I'm talking to KuangTu. He is one of the website administrators for Diablo3.cc, a Chinese language website, and he and his website recently came to our attention because they visited Blizz Irvine and got a cool interview with Jay Wilson. And we've been trying to chat for a week or so and had to put it off because he's been battling an illness, a sickness of some sort. Are you feeling better today?
Hey, Flux, this is KuangTu, and actually I'm still a little sick, but I have been visiting a doctor, so I'm getting better. Thanks for asking.
And your voice sounds pretty good.
Well, it's getting there.
And if you start coughing horribly, we can edit that out as long as you don't actually die. So
I will survive.
Did you get sick in your Blizzard visit in Irvine?
No, actually not. It was a very intense visiting. It was only 2 days, but I was well, when I was there, but right after I got back, I was very busy because I have to cut up on work and study. So after that, I got sick. So, I'm still recovering.
So you didn't get some horrible illness from Jay Wilson's lunch or anything?
Maybe. I don't really know.
Or your coworker from China didn't give you the bird flu, but you're fine now.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yep.
So, on the visit, it was you and your co-administrator, I guess his name Bloodface is his online name?
Yeah, that's his online name, and he actually followed Diablo series longer than, I don't think anybody else is longer than him, so he's like...
So he's just been following it in China since, like, Diablo 2?
Yeah, actually Diablo 1, he is one of the oldest players in China, and he was one of the fun site representative that actually met, I think his name is Bill, right? Sorry. For the development for Diablo 2. They actually visited China, so he was one of the representative of the fun site.
That's cool. And he also works for NetEase, I think, or is that someone else who works for them?
Oh, he actually works for NetEase right now. He started about late last year, maybe October or November. So that's one of the reasons why we were able to come to Blizzard this year, a couple of days ago.
And what is NetEase for people who don't know? That we hear that's Blizzard's online partner in China, but can you tell us what that actually means?
NetEase is one of the earliest websites that when China started to develop internet, and I think it started in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. And now it's one of the biggest sites in China. It's almost like MSN or one of those sites.
So they're like an ISP, but they also handle gaming?
Yes, it's one of their channels or sub-site that he actually works for, Bloodface actually works for. And
he also runs a Diablo 3 site, Diablo 3 fan site.
Yes. Before he joined NetEase, he's running an independent website, the Diablo3.cc, and now it's actually just combined yesterday with D.163.com, and 163 is actually the site name for NetEase as well.
And you're not part of NetEase. You're actually in the United States now. Are you a student visiting?
I'm a student right now, and I'm also working, so it's like part-time student, part-time job.
And you're in Chicago area?
Mm-hmm. I live in Chicago for almost 10 years.
And Bloodface had to fly in from China. So you guys met up in Irvine, I guess, like a week and a half ago when you were there, or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I met him in the airport, and after he got his invitation letter and his ticket, I just bought my ticket according to his flight. And we actually had a little incident on the airplane. My plane was leaking oil or something, and it was late about an hour, but his flight was actually late for 2 hours. So I was lucky I got there before him, because I thought the Blizzard PR will be with him, but they actually left China a couple of days earlier. So luckily I got there first, because nobody with him can speak English, really.
Yeah. Where was he coming from in China, by the way?
He's from Beijing, the capital of China.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you guys met up there in Irvine, and Blizzard had provided you with what, like 2 days of hotel and like a big busy itinerary kind of thing?
Well, it's basically 3 nights. We got there on the 25th, which is Monday, and the 26th and 27th are actually the interview and tours on campus. And we left on the night of 27th, yeah.
And it was just busy, busy, busy?
Yeah, it's very busy. It's nonstop. It's just visiting and interview and just having dinner, then, go to sleep. The next day we do the same thing all over again.
And no time to play Diablo 3, I guess.
No, actually, it's very interesting because Mr. Mike Morham, when we were visiting him, interviewing him, he asked us if we had a chance to play Diablo 3, and we didn't. And actually, the building where they developing Diablo 3 were sealed off. It's not really sealed off. It's just not allowed us to visit their office. So.
Yeah, they walked us through there before the Fan Science Summit when I was there at BlizzCon in 2009. And they had like half the walls covered up with like, big pieces of white paper. Because I guess, they hadn't announced the Demon Hunter yet at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's lots of artwork for Act 3 and Act 4 and other stuff. Probably even expansion stuff they're working on already we haven't even seen. So they don't let you in there very much. And if they do, they ask you not to look at stuff.
Yeah, I think we actually went into the building, to the first floor, but we were not allowed to go to other places otherwise they probably will show us around in their office, but still they didn't show us anything in that building except the first floor.
Yeah, back where the developers are, they have all these, they have the art and everything on the walls, and so I guess they don't want secrets getting out.
Mm-hmm.
They did have one whole wall. Bashiak actually took a photo of it at one point and put it up on the Twitter in the early days. It called the Monster Wall, I think, and it just had nothing but like concept art and like early rough versions of like every monster in the game. And we walked past it, and Bashiak's just like, "You guys can look at this, but please don't take any pictures of it and try to forget what you've seen." So, it's tough to absorb when you're just walking past it, but you do get to see a lot of interesting stuff if you're back in the actual development areas.
Yeah, I think I saw that picture online. I think he posted one of the, as you said, monster wall or something online, and I actually saw that. It's pretty interesting, but we were not able to go there, and we were actually hunting for Bashiak while we were there because we had a lot of free time before the interviews, and we were sitting outside near the statue, the orc statue.
Yeah, the big wolf rider.
Yes, and we were just looking around to hopefully, we can see Bashiak going to have lunch or something, but we were never able to see him.
If you were looking for her, no wonder you didn't see him.
Yeah, I didn't see him. Yeah, nobody saw him.
We'll get back to the Blizzard visit a little more in a minute, but as you mentioned with seeing the Twitter pictures, from what we talked about on email a little bit, China does lots of website blocking, and we always hear about that outside of China, but you can't access Twitter or Facebook at all from inside of China?
I think Twitter is easier to visit because you can just actually search for it, but Facebook you cannot, and YouTube you cannot. That's one of the problems. So if that's the problem why for the like 1 million like thing, there's no Chinese people can actually go there and click on it to increase the progress, because a lot of Chinese fans actually want to contribute to that, but they cannot log on to Facebook.
Well, you can, but you're not in China. But you're the one Chinese fan who can do it, I guess.
Yeah, I did it on the first day, and after that, I only can sit there and watch.
Do you have any idea what % of the readers of your Diablo3.cc or of NetEase could actually read English? Or, I mean, you're translating most everything you see into Chinese.
Yeah, basically, but we have on our website, we have a group that is all the translators, but they're not professional. Nobody is professional. They are just fans that know some English or even some other languages. Some of them they live in China. Some of them they live abroad, maybe even Europe. So basically, we have about 5 to 10 people who knows English on the entire website who constantly contribute to the website, but I do most of the translations because since I have the advantage of being in the United States, because usually when the news comes out, it's in the afternoon time, and the people in China are still sleeping, so I translate them first. Yep, that's my advantage.
Yeah, it's tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening in China, I guess, when it's daytime in most of the U.S.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's 18 hours later there, roughly, or 16, I guess, from where you are.
Yeah, it really depends on where you live, yeah.
And we're saying Chinese, but that means Mandarin, right? I mean, there's multiple dialects of Chinese in China.
Well, they are all accents in different provinces, but basically they're Mandarin and Cantonese, but most people know Mandarin, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the written English is all, the written language is actually all the same, so it doesn't matter. When you write it, when you post it online, everybody knows it.
That's interesting. So it's written the same, but it's pronounced differently in different areas?
Yeah, a little bit different. It's like when you are in Texas and you're in New York, the accent, there's a little accent.
Yeah, difference. But it's still, you can kind of understand Texans generally when they're not shooting at you. There's not really any official Blizzard sites in Chinese language?
For Blizzard.com, like the content on Blizzard.com, we don't have anything like that. Sometimes we have, for example, for StarCraft 2, we had a real official website long time ago, like maybe from even 08 or 09, but they never update anything on it. So nobody goes there to get information. They always go to Fansite to see the translations because we're the people who actually do the work.
So even for World of Warcraft, they don't have an official Chinese language World of Warcraft site?
Actually, they do. I mean, once they actually port the game into China and they start running, they have an official website. But the real good information never really comes from the official website. It's the same. I believe it's the same in the United States or any other countries.
Mm-hmm. They put up, they'll put occasional updates on it, but really the fan sites are the ones that do all the collating and collecting of info.
Yes.
And offer, analysis and opinion and such, which is why we're called fan sites, I guess. But it's funny, as much as Blizzard, we always hear on their conference calls and such how much they're trying to expand into China and, trying to get World of Warcraft. And there's always all these problems getting the latest expansion of WoWcraft released in China. I mean, didn't take 2 years to get the Burning Crusade released?
Well, yeah, that's one of the problems in the Burning Crusade and Wrath of Lich King. It's all waiting for so long. And I was actually playing the Burning Crusade in China. I mean, while it was there, and I left about a couple of years ago. But we did wait a long time, and the game actually start kind of to twist it. People start to play out of the rules. Because the expansion was waiting for so long. Everybody was waiting for the expansion, and you get the same number for the version, and you get the same update of the changes in talent and everything, but you don't get the content. So it's sometimes people are overpowered, like against mobs or something like that. Yeah.
So it's kind of screwed up, basically.
Yeah, a little bit.
And do you know why that is? It's just they're not. We hear about it's bureaucracy. That they're not bribing the right people to approve the version or something, and NetEase has to work with Chinese officials.
Well, they all have to work with the Chinese officials because there are departments that really look at the content and see if this part, a skeleton cannot be shown in the game or something like that, or blood. It's just, I don't know why. I really don't know why they always take that long time to do that. But NetEase actually is very powerful partner, I think, as Blizzard said. So I think StarCraft 2 and the Wrath of Lich King actually being released pretty fast, compared to the previous games.
And how is Diablo 2's availability there? Is there an official Chinese language version, or are people playing pirated copies that have been fan translations or something?
Well, that was about 10 years ago, and back then actually there isn't too much problem about getting foreign games in China, and although there was I think there was official translation for Diablo 2 in China, but that was a company a long time ago, and I think it already bankrupt. But back then there was I don't think there was any problem getting a games imported into China, but now it's getting harder and harder.
So they would just play the English language version, or else they would just play pirate copies of the English version? I mean, like you mentioned, Bloodface has been playing since Diablo 1. So what kind of Diablo 1 was he playing? That was just an English language version?
Yeah, I think the Diablo 1 was never translated into Chinese until many years later. And Diablo 2, there was official translation and unofficial translation, because there are a lot of games, if you don't get imported into China, there's no official translation. So the gamers actually forms like a group. They do the translations and they have the package. You just apply that package to the game. Of course, it's pirated, and you just get your own language game.
It's like fan subs for movies.
Yeah, something like that.
But for Diablo 3, Blizzard, I guess, is making big plans for an official language version, and they're trying to sell millions of copies and everything.
Yeah, I think so, because since StarCraft 2 and, I mean, even World of Warcraft, they always have official translation. So, because NetEase already have World of Warcraft and StarCraft 2, so it's reasonable to think they will get Diablo 3 as well. So maybe they're already started working on the translation. Who knows?
Do you know what quality the official translations of StarCraft and Warcraft are? I mean, are they pretty good? So, I mean, I've talked to other people like in Poland and Germany and stuff, and often there's a lot of funny errors and not very good translations. Like some of the monster names are just sort of nonsense. You know, like the name doesn't translate into that language and have any meaning.
I've played World of Warcraft a lot, but I never really played the Chinese version of the StarCraft because I already own the English version. So, for World of Warcraft, my experience, I had no problem with it. I mean, it's all making sense to me because I would play the English version and the Chinese version, so I didn't encounter any problem in the translation. So I think they did a good job.
Yeah, so I mean, you can still get the stories make sense, and the quest and the lore and stuff is decently written once they're in the translated version.
Yes, because I think for World of Warcraft, the translator for the game content or all the texts were actually gamers. I mean, at least they used to be gamers for for Warcraft 3 or things like that.
One of the things that I noticed a lot in Diablo 2, especially in the realms when they had the big ladder races, like in 109 and such, and I guess they still do to some extent, but it seemed like they were really dominated, the 3 Asian realms were really dominated by sorceresses, almost always in Diablo 2. And I guess part of that was because they were really fast characters, and also they worked really well with bots, but we were talking before we started recording a little bit about the differences in Eastern and Western RPGs. And the stereotypical Eastern RPG is lots of spell casting, lots of sort of like fairies and princesses and kind of Zelda type stuff, as opposed to, barbarian kind of characters. And I wondered if you had any sense of, and then also we have in Diablo 3, they've made the wizard characters look Asian. Blizzard has justified that, saying that they're a global company and that they want to have characters of every race to kind of give people all over the world something to identify with and that appeals to them especially. So this is the longest rambling question ever, but do you get the sense then from Chinese gamers, is there like a special affinity for mage type characters or for those characters in Diablo 3, or is it just people have different preferences and play whatever they want to play?
I think actually we had a poll on Diablo3.cc just recently, and the mage is one of the highest, has the highest vote. So I guess people like to play mage or range class. I don't know why, but Barbarian is one of the favorite characters too, I think. But as you mentioned before, for the mage character in Diablo 3, there's like a Asian touch. But I think the reason is the artist for the pictures, the concept art, is Wei Wang from China, Shanghai, China, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a lot of great concept art is from him, so maybe he has some touch on the concept art, and maybe he's some personalities into it. I don't really know, but not just the mage, even for the monk, there are many Chinese fans are questioning if it's like from a Chinese monk or like concept is from that, but I don't think Blizzard ever really said it was from a Chinese source or something like that.
Well, the monk is obviously kind of an Asian source. He's got kind of martial arts moves. I don't know if you could really narrow it down to any particular country. I think they're kind of just looking at the general vibe and the theme. I mean, people have said he looks Russian, like he looks kind of like Rasputin or something with the bald head and the big beard. And then he's got the saffron robes, which is kind of like the Dalai Lama sort of look. So I think they just kind of throw a bunch of elements in together and just give you kind of a general sense of it instead of being anything, specifically or in particular.
Yeah, I don't think Blizzard will ever do any particular class on any specific country or race, because it's just not right. So, but when you look at it, I mean, anybody who looks at it, they will always picture it in their own image first. That's why some of the Chinese fans or players will say that. It's the same thing like you have the image on Mars, you think it's a face, but it's actually not a face, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think that who's your favorite Diablo 2 character, by the way?
I don't have a favorite one, but I started to play with Necromancer, but about maybe half months later, I just started to play Barbarian. So basically, Barbarian is my first character. So maybe that's my favorite one. I don't know.
Is that what you're going to do in Diablo 3 as well?
I haven't decided yet.
Have you played Diablo 3 at all yet?
No, not at all, because I didn't have a chance or time to go to any of the BlizzCon in the past few years. And a couple of days ago was my first visit to Blizzard headquarters. So, and we didn't have a chance to play there, unfortunately.
Do you know if Bloodface has played?
I think he did, because he visited.
They must have. Yeah. Did they have it at NetEase or something in China at some point, or he played it elsewhere?
He played elsewhere. He visited BlizzCon in 2009, and that was his first visit to United States as well. So he played on BlizzCon.
So how did they ship you all the way to Irvine? They flew him all the way from China, which is 12-hour flight or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you're there for 2 days, and they don't let you play any Diablo 3 when you guys run a Diablo 3 website. That seems crazy. How do they not schedule that?
Well, actually, we're not really representing the fun site itself. We're representing the NetEase. So they basically invited NetEase, and there's another website called Sina. Those are the websites, big websites in China. Mm-hmm. And they also have the traditional media. I think there were like 2 other traditional media. So there were like 4 different media. And we're actually the biggest one, because I'm the translator. And other than Bloodface, there's another person who is responsible for the StarCraft 2 content on NetEase on the website. So we have 3 people, and all other media only had 1 people in our group. So basically, it's not really a visit for playing the game or getting more information from the game. It's an interview for all the developers and the CEO. Even we had a chance to talk to the CEO of Blizzard.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. You had Mike Morhaime and Frank Pierce there.
Yes.
And you gave them that shiny stick that people kept asking questions about.
Oh, yes. That's actually, Bloodface prepared it for like 6 months or so. And, as a gift from NetEase, but he's, I think it's his personal expense or something. He asked, Orgrimmar that's one of the manufacturers in China that makes, Blizzard stuff, related stuff.
Merchandise,
yes. And
I'm still, it troubles me they didn't let you play Diablo 3, like you said, you had time before lunch and you're outside sitting by the orc statue. They could have had you guys on a demo, getting the BlizzCon 2010 demo playing. I mean, I just talked last Friday to the New York Times reporter, the guy Seth Chazelle, I think his last name is, about his visit to Blizzard, and they put him on the demo when he got to play Witch Doctor for an hour. It's like, and he was already in Irvine. You guys flew one of you, 2 of your group flew from China and didn't get to play. But I mean, like you said, you got to interview and such. It wasn't really you weren't there just to see the game.
Yeah, I really had no idea why, because all the schedule was set by the Chinese or the U.S. PR, so they had the schedule and we had to follow it. I mean, yeah. I actually talked to them, but they didn't really give us a chance to play it. I really wanted to, but no, it didn't happen.
You did get that nice Jay Wilson interview though, which is what we had. Then you we posted the quick version by, who is it, Secundi is the other guy who works on your site? Secundi?
Yeah, yes.
What do you call him in China?
Well, actually, his online name on our website was it's actually Blizzard.
Yeah, see, that seems like it could be confusing. Like if my online name were Diablo, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's why he probably chose another name in English.
Yeah. So he wasn't there, but he posted he posted like a translation of the rough notes of it.
Yes, because actually right after the interview, Bloodface has to post some of the interviews online because he actually basically works for NetEase, and it's an information website. He has to post it right away. So I just sat down with him and we went through the questions one by one, and he wrote down a rough summary of the interview. And after I get back to Chicago, I listened to the recording and I typed down the full version of it. That's why he was able to post it ahead of time, and I think it's his second, or Blizzard, he was able to translate it in English and post it before me.
Yeah, that was just like a sentence for each answer, just very short answers. And those, we posted the news about that and the Google translation of it. But then, luckily, as you said, you had the full transcript on recording. Was that like a 20-minute interview, roughly?
It's about 30 minutes, and we were the only media that was asking questions.
So you got like 12 or 13 good questions, and Jay gave pretty good answers. And he revealed one bit of new, really new info was that there's no binding on items.
Yes, actually, right after he answered the question, he added a sentence that this is exclusive stuff, and we don't want to ban items, but we never said we won't. And this is the first time we actually admit it. So
that wasn't, you didn't actually type that before? You're just telling me this right now?
Well, that was included in the transcript, but it wasn't, in text, you can't really hear what he said or like how dramatic it is, because everybody was very exciting because it was one of the exclusive stuff we had.
So he said, just to repeat that, he said that they don't want to ban to bind any items, but they might have to?
No, I think what he said was they never really want to have items that binds to people or a character, but they never admit that really won't do it.
So they never previously said they wouldn't, but time he said it was with you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were adding something, saying this may be a change again. We've had this debate on other podcasts already. Actually, we talked. Right after the interview, I talked to two other guys about it. How that would affect the economy, and it seems like they have plans to add so many items and patches and such regular expansions that it's almost like why bother binding, because 3 or 6 months later there'll be better items anyway.
I don't really know if that's their plan, but I think the recycling of the item will be sufficient enough to control the economy or something. They must have a plan, I'm sure.
Well, let's hope. And you guys asked about the beta, and of course Jay said nothing at that point. Do you know if there's any arrangement with NetEase to distribute any beta keys in China? I mean, is Blizzard even going to have beta testing for Diablo 3 in China, in the Chinese market?
I think for beta key distribution, if it's from a US server, they always distribute it through Blizzard China. And for the Chinese part, they have another time. It's never like synced. So basically, if NetEase is ready to release the game in China, like after it's translated, it's always about a couple months or half a year or even a year after the game has been released in the United States. So it's not really related.
Yeah, so you'll be the lucky one maybe, because Diablo 3 might not come out in China for months after in the U.S. And
yeah,
you'll be the only person on your website who's playing the game. I guess you have some people in Europe also, you said.
Well, but I don't think that's the case, because if beta started in for example, North America, and if they distribute the beta key and they will also give it to some of the keys to the Chinese fan site, it won't be as much as some of your fan site, but there will be some. So I won't be the only one, definitely not. And they also have the opt-in option, so Some of the Chinese players, they already submit their files, but yeah.
I think they're doing pretty much simultaneous releases now. I mean, apparently Warcraft, they can't get it approved in China, but do you know when StarCraft 2 came out in China compared to the rest of the world?
Oh, just a couple months ago, maybe a month or two. I don't know. But definitely earlier this year. So it's about more than half years late. But it's pretty impressive already because all other Blizzard games had to wait a year or two for it to release.
But I guess you'll find out if the same thing happens with Diablo 3 or not. But you're in Chicago, so, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I don't have to wait around to play Diablo 3, but the thing is, Diablo 3 it's a little bit different games. It's more darker, it's more bloodier, so I don't know how long they will have to take to change the game or to censor the game.
Yeah, they've mentioned, and like Jay Wilson's mentioned before, that they have to make it so blood can appear or not appear. I think Germany's got fairly strict rules about how much gore and blood you can have, so they have to make versions where, you can't have red blood in some games. You can have like green blood or purple blood or something, but like apparently red blood is bad because it's human blood.
Yeah, and they already changed some of the aspect in StarCraft 2. I think for Marines, in the US, there are many ways for Marines to die, right? It depends on like what units you attacked it with. But in China, there are only a couple, maybe even one, just single way for Marine to die. And after you die, it just disappears or reduced to ash. There's no blood or anything like that.
So it's like less gruesome.
Yes.
Which is tough with Diablo 3 because, as you say, it's a very bloody, gory game in design.
Yeah, it's constantly fighting and killing monsters with blood spilling on the ground, all the time. So I don't know how they're going to achieve that. So there are many Chinese fans actually worried about like if we can get the game on time or even get the game at all.
Are they trying to find ways to get English versions or to get uncensored versions from Europe?
Yeah, some from Europe, some from maybe even Southeast Asia, maybe from Taiwan or US, because I actually followed the game, StarCraft 2 a couple years ago, and I experienced all the up and downs. So many players actually bought the North America version of StarCraft 2, and even from Taiwan, it's cheaper and easier to get. So everybody get different versions, and now finally StarCraft 2 is being released in China, so there are more players joining to for the game.
Yeah, wouldn't the problem with StarCraft 2 be that you couldn't play it online then? Because you have to do it through official means? There's no LAN support in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that it's not as popular as StarCraft 1. I mean, like many years ago. I mean, now is not too many people playing StarCraft 1 anymore, but still, LAN is one of the big issues, and I don't think Blizzard is going to set back on that ever again. So.
Yeah, no LAN support in Diablo 3 either. So.
Yeah, actually, I think Diablo 3 they announced there's no LAN even before StarCraft 2. So that was many years ago.
Which is tough, because, I mean, I'm sure you'd have people who read your website who would love you to buy them an English copy and send it over. But then they couldn't play it with anybody else. It would just be a single-player game.
No, not really, because it doesn't matter what version they buy. They always play it on the right server. They still can play it, even when they don't know English that well. They still can play. Some of them, they know a little English. That's sufficient enough, because I remember many years ago when Diablo 2 was out, there was no Chinese translation at all, and we still enjoyed the game.
So you would just connect to the English to the US servers or the European servers and play it on Battle.net?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised I think that would be blocked, though. I mean, given that China is blocking Facebook and Twitter and other things, YouTube. They'll let you connect to Battle.net, though.
I don't think the game was ever being blocked. It's just the websites usually.
Yeah. So if they can just get a box, then they can play. But
yes,
I think you would be in high demand.
Well, actually, when StarCraft 2 was released, there's many players want me to buy a game and ship it to them, but yeah. it's really inconvenient because the shipping cost is very high, and sometimes it's even higher or the same as the cost of the game. So Eventually, it was only one person who actually asked me to buy a collector's edition for him. So.
And mail it over to him?
Yes, which I did, and it was a pretty fast shipping.
Yeah, I would think that if you sent, 100 copies of Diablo 3, that it would get opened up by customs or something and they'd arrest you. So I think that would count as like black market or bootlegging or something, even if they were official copies.
Yeah, I cannot do that. That's why I only did one, and it's not a big patch or something. It's just like a single box. So
and it's a box of something that's not legal in that country, because that's why they're censoring it. So I guess it's contraband officially.
Yeah, I don't think they did the censor thorough enough. Otherwise, it would be blocked or shipped back to me, or even just taken away.
Yeah, they just take it home and play it themselves, probably.
Yeah, I got lucky.
You have not played Diablo 3, but you're following it very closely, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to playing? What is, if the game was in your hands right now, or if you had gotten to play some at Blizzard, what would you have done first? What character, or would you just stare at the interface and just be like, ooh, shiny?
I think I'll just choose a random character because I'm not really into any characters yet. I'll just look at the interface and all the system. I'm very interested in the new systems in Diablo 3, and I know there are some of the new systems that they didn't really announce yet. And for example, I think now it's called followers, and other system like I don't even know if there's a mailing system, but I know there are auction house, some kind of auction house in Diablo 3. So I want to know more about these things. Other than
they haven't confirmed an auction house, but it seems like they have to have one.
Yes, otherwise it's going to be really inconvenient for players to trade items.
Yeah, I was talking about that quite a bit on the podcast on Monday with the New York Times reporter guy, because that's his interest in the game, and he used to write for the financial section of the paper when he first started working at the New York Times, I think he said. So he's obviously interested in how finances work and how trading works in World of Warcraft and such. And we were, discussing some sort of eBay-like system for Diablo 3. And one of the points he brought up that I hadn't thought of is World of Warcraft. There's how many servers in the world? Like hundreds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Each of which has, 10 or 20 or 30,000 players. But, Diablo 2 had, 6 realms in the entire world. Maybe they'll have a lot more in Diablo 3. But if you're looking at, 12 million WoW players divided by, 300 realms versus 10 million Diablo players divided by 5 realms, that's a fantastically greater number of transactions per realm.
I never think about it because I never thought about it.
You might have 1 million people trading in the same marketplace on each Diablo 3 realm, whereas you have, 10,000 in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that could cause a problem because if you want to sell something and if you post it and there are like 1 million other people want to sell the same thing, your item probably is going to be like to the 10th page for the same item. So how do you manage that problem? They must
imagine the database. Just having to process that many transactions.
Yes.
And how do you get listings and how do you make yourself visible? So I'm really wondering if they're going to probably have to break up Diablo 3 into more realms or into more trading sections or something.
Yeah, that's possible. I guess we just have to wait and see, and it's just in next couple months, they probably will announce that.
Yeah, they've said they're going to announce all of the game systems before the beta starts, and now we know the beta is going to start in either July, August, or September. So, we should be getting big feature announcements, big system announcements every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks until the game starts. If we're going to get auction house and mercenaries and trading systems and matchmaking and whatever else they're going to tell us about.
Yeah, there's only from what we think they will announce, there are already a couple of them. So, and there's some of the system, I'm sure there's some of the system we can't even imagine right now. So, as you said, I think in the next couple of months, there will be announcement maybe every month or so, or even half a month. So.
And it'll keep you busy because you have to translate all of that for a website.
Oh yeah.
Do you get paid for that, by the way, or you just do it because you enjoy it?
No, not at all. Of course not. Yeah, it's all passion, for the game.
It's a labor of love.
Yep.
You're putting in all this work to translate features into Chinese, and a lot of people hopefully are reading it. More than you don't have 10 readers. You've got a lot of people who are appreciating your efforts.
Yeah. Actually, Diablo3.cc is one of the largest fun site for Diablo in China, and I think it's getting better because it's being merged to NetEase since Bloodface has already joined NetEase as an employee, so it will get better.
Do you get a sense of how popular Diablo is in China compared to Warcraft or StarCraft or other games? I mean, local Eastern RPGs that we don't know about in the U.S.?
Well, it's really hard to say because Diablo 2 was released more than 10 years ago. So
yeah,
and but it was very, very popular back then. And Diablo 2 and StarCraft were very popular. The thing is, after Diablo 2 was released, there was many games has spawned in not in China but in Asia. It was followed the same pattern and it was very popular as well. But since World of Warcraft has launched in China, it's very successful as well. So I don't know how popular it's going to be because compared to World of Warcraft, because it's totally different type of game. And since Diablo 3 doesn't have lane support, I don't really know how many people is willing to really buy the game and just pay it once and play it for like another 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to anticipate that, but there are many players who want to get their hands on Diablo 3, definitely.
And Blizzard is not really doing any sort of promotion in China as of yet. I mean, there's no official Diablo 3 Chinese site.
No,
they haven't really been in China touring or doing publicity as far as I know.
No, not really. And I think it's because all the Blizzard games in China are going through like an agent company, which is NetEase currently. So the Blizzard doesn't really do any promotions or anything in China directly. It's always through the company, the agent company in China.
Well, you should try to get hired on for that. Like they should pay you some, you're a local translation expert or something. Seems like you're doing all this work for free.
Yeah, right now it's just my interest in the games, and I really enjoy to share all the news that people enjoy in English into Chinese. So the Chinese fans can enjoy the news as well. So I just like to see their reactions when I give them a good news or bad news, like the game is being pushed back or something like that.
Yeah. So you posted about the beta announcement yesterday, I guess. People were excited about that?
Oh, I did. Actually, I was following the conference call live as you did. So, but the problem is when Mike Morhaime announced that it was about 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning. So there's not many people actually waiting online to see the news. But it's already been a day, so they appreciate the news. But the problem is, Mr. Mike Morhaime only told us it's going to be in the third quarter for beta. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really have the excitement for people. I mean, they say, third quarter, so we'll have to wait another 2 months. I mean, they want more exact dates, so that's... Yeah,
they're following the wrong company if they want exact dates, unfortunately.
I know.
Your colleague, Blizzard, I guess is his name, Secundi, he keeps saying he's going to send me interview questions, which I'm kind of puzzled by, but I guess I'll see what he sends me. But you've translated lots of stuff. He said that he's translated like the write-ups I've done from BlizzCon and such. So you guys are not just translating what Bashiak says, but you're finding articles all over the place and other media coverage and interviews. You're just kind of doing like this website, but in Chinese. So.
Yeah, we're getting news from all the sources. I mean, definitely IncGamer, Diablo3.ncgamer.com is one of the biggest source. And I usually follow the Twitter, Facebook, or the Blue Post more closely. And he usually translate what you wrote down and from maybe other websites. So we have different jobs, and I post some other things as well. So. And since this trip, I've been posting some articles about my trip, but it's more like just what I did. It's nothing really into the interviews or anything. And we already posted the interview transcript, so we just have to wait for more information about the game system. And actually, other than that interview, there are other medias did other interviews to Mr. Wilson as well. So maybe someday I can, after they post it, and if they allow, I'll do the English translation on that too, so I can share it with you guys.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yep.
And well, thanks for your effort on that, and thanks for the podcast. Any other big things you notice? Any differences between just the Chinese version and the English version of fan sites and coverage?
I think more discussion has been done on the English side than the Chinese side. I mean, people are eager to see the news on Chinese side, but they don't really spend the time to discuss the details because there's not too much things to discuss about. So I think the English fans are more dedicated to talk about the content and to improve the game. For the Chinese fans, they are just eager to see what the game is about first, then discuss about it.
Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
And we'll look forward. Hopefully, you guys will get some more. Maybe Blizzard will do a PR swing through China, and you can get some more firsthand stuff, and maybe let you play the damn game finally.
Yeah, maybe I'll see you on BlizzCon this year. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm going or not, but we'll see how the scheduling works out. And yeah, you finally get to play it at BlizzCon, or else maybe you can get a beta via NetEase and finally get a chance to have some fun. All right, thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right.